Check 1, 2. All right, we're good. No problem, sifu. I gotta see if I can deal with the massive crowd. Yeah. All right. Nice. All right, so we'll go feet shoulder width, nice big hoop, and we turn. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Left hand on the waist, reaching over. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and 3. Stretching towards the floor. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Middle once. Inhale and exhale. Again. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Middle once. Inhale and exhale. Hands on the waist. Rotation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. We switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Crossing hands, knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Switch hands, switch directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Hands on the waist, turning the head side to side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Tilting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Rotation, looking all the way around. 1, 2, 3. And we switch. 1, 2, and 3. Opening up the feet, arms out, turning the waist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Crossing the fingers, we turn to the right, lift the heel. 1, 2, 3, and we switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, 3, switch. 1, 2, and 3. Both feet flat. And we switch. Switch and toe up. And switch again, toe up. And we stand up, turn to the right, both legs straight, bending at the waist, and stretch. And we switch sides. And to the middle. Okay, let's bring the feet in. Toes out, elbows between the knees. As we call in the kids' class, the frog. And we sit. Feet together, butterfly. And we stick out the right leg, stretch towards that foot. Okay, let's switch. Both feet out front, hands behind you. We bounce, switch, and up. All right, so we'll run through the horse stance with the drills, the bridge drills and the punching and that, and then we'll move on from there. We'll do the punches, the kicks, all that good stuff, and then we'll jump into 5 stances. Have you guys finished 5 stances? Excellent. And you're working through first form? Excellent. Very good. All right. And Brian, where are you at these days? 5th? Yeah. And Andrew? What form are you working on these days? Finished 2nd, so you're working through 3rd? Awesome. All right. So we're going to open up into a horse stance. We start ready position. Make fists. We raise them up. Bend the knees. Heels out. Toes out, heels out, and lastly, feet parallel toes. We bend the knees out, body straight, relaxed, and we're going to reverse punch. So we turn it over at the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. So just something to make clear when we're doing these punches. We want to make sure that even though there's rotation, we don't end up with a bent wrist, because punching something with a bent wrist, that's the weak point all of a sudden. It doesn't have the support of the bones behind it, and it's very easy to do terrible things to your wrist that way. So even though you turn it over, you still want to make sure that it ends straight. Yeah? Good. So we close 1, 2. Now we'll do low block. We press 1, 2. Good. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Before we continue, you want to make sure that kind of the bend of your wrist is in the middle. It's a little counterintuitive because you think, well, I would block with my hand. But your fingers are easily broken through if something's coming up. This would create that kind of wedge position that sends it off to the side. So the hand's actually not as strong as your bridge, as the forearm. So if you put the middle of your wrist right there, that bend of the wrist in the middle, then you're going to deflect pretty well. Okay, so that was 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Good. Closing 1, 2. That was nice. Middle block, we come across the body, stopping at the shoulder. You don't want to go past because there's no reason for it. Once the thing that has come in is lined up here, it's beyond me. So I don't want to block something over here. I want to just take it to a point where it can't hit me anymore. If I go farther than that, it's going to take me longer to get back to the middle if I have to block something else. So I just stop at the shoulder. And 2, 3, 4, good. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. We extend out, close, 1, 2. Now we do high block. We lift, same thing with the middle of the wrist lined up in the middle. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. Closing, 1, 2. Now we do Ling Wam Sam Sik, all 3 on the same arm. Low, middle, high. 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 Low, middle, and high. Closing, 1, 2. Low block with a punch. Block, punch. Block, punch. Watch that wrist. There you go. Block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, and punch. Closing, 1, 2. Middle block with a punch. Block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch. That's all right. Block and punch. You're doing fine. Closing, 1, 2. And high block, punch. Block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, punch, block, and punch. Very nicely done. Closing, 1, 2. Now we do Danji Kyoseo. Pull back. We're going to always return to this spot. Whether we're going out, down, up, or to the front, we always come back to this position. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Going low, 1, 2. Make sure that your elbows don't lock out straight, just because if it gets hit, then the whole body goes back. 3, good. 4, 5. Andrew, pull it back a little farther. 6, going high. So your hands should come back. The elbows go back a little more. If you go to this kind of halfway position, you don't have the same force to push out with. Okay, going eyebrow height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Last set in front of us, shoulder width, shoulder height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Thrust out, flip, roll, press. Thrust out, flip, roll, press. Thrust out, flip, roll, press. Good. Closing, 1, 2. Closing the feet. 1, 2, 3, 4. We shake it out. Deep breathing. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Very good. So if nobody needs a drink yet, we'll just continue through. If anyone wants a drink, just let me know. We can certainly take a break. So feet shoulder width, left hand on the waist, the fist to the center. We punch out and in. Good. Good. We switch and punch. So one thing, when we bend the elbow, you don't want to bring the elbow inside the body. You don't want it sticking out. You want it vertical, but you want it to get out of the way so that the fist can travel in a straight line. So if you come too far inside, you kind of crash against yourself. Whereas if you're up against the rib cage, you've still got that room to move. Nice. Good. We turn to the right and punch. Okay, switch, punch. Very good. We stop, both fists up, hiwachoi, alternating punches. Yeah, good. So we want to turn the waist, we don't want to turn the head. If you bend your knees slightly, it actually makes turning into this a little easier. If your knees are straight, it kind of makes you feel less stable. There you go. Nice. Good. Raise the right elbow and reach out and back. Good. Okay, switch and punch. Good. To the center, Cheilun Choi, cartwheel punch, one over the other. And you want them both to go in a straight line. So you don't want them to cross path. You want them both to be punching in the same position. Yep, there you go. Okay, stop. Kwa choi, back of the fist. And we switch, punch. Okay, stop. Left foot lightly touching the floor. Right foot's facing 45. We bend the right knee, supporting all the weight. So you really want no weight on the front foot because you're going to switch stance. If you have weight forward, you're going to have to then shift back before you can move. Left hand is out. Right hand is the low block position. And we switch. Yeah, you got it good. Switch. 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 Switch, 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 and switch. So just one thing to clarify. First of all, absolutely will stipulate from the outset that it's way easier to say this stuff than it is to do it, right? We hear it, we go, no problem. And then we're trying to coordinate jumping and one hand doing one thing, and it's this on steroids, right? So first of all, just be patient with yourself as we do this. We don't judge around here. We know it takes time, right? The other thing is that when we're doing this, we have our punch that's out, and we have this low block in the low block position, because if someone tries to hit us, and we're in motion, maybe I'm switching because someone's on this side and they're trying to hit me on this side, and I'm switching to this side to hit, but I don't want to give up my defense on the low side, because it would really stink to jump from here to here and then get hit wide open. So you want to kind of create this position where from here, the transition happens from here to here. This goes to your low block position. And then you switch sides, and it goes to the low block position. So if you get used to that kind of a transfer, you can kind of automate that so that you're not having to think about it. Because under duress, if you're thinking, wait, where's that hand go? You're you're getting hit while you're trying to figure it out. But if you can do this in an automatic way, every time we do warm-ups in class, we do these punches, then you start to get used to that. Then it's one less thing to take off the list of things to worry about, right? So that's kind of the goal. So we'll take it a little bit slower to help lock that in so it's not just, gah. So we go switch, good. Switch, switch, very good. Switch, 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 good. Switch, 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 and switch. Excellent. Deep breathing. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Awesome. So we'll, if anybody's needs a drink, let me know. Otherwise, I'm just going to soldier through. All right. So we're going to put our left foot forward, leaning stance. One thing about a leaning stance is that the alignment of a leaning stance, I'll do it on the floorboard so you can see, is your toe lines up with your heel of your opposite foot. Yeah, there you go. So straight line between your toe and your heel. What happens is if my feet are too thin this way, too narrow this way, then when I go to toe out to open up the hip, I've really crossed the leg and it becomes hard to come through. If my feet are too wide, then I toe out, it's great, I'm going to the corner, but she's got a dead open shot on me, right? So when you're here, if you have that good alignment of your leaning stance, and this is true of all leaning stances, every leaning position is going to be toe to heel, then we have our left hand up, right hand's that low block position again. We're going to punch, toe out. Yep, so one thing about that, when you toe out, if you can unweight slightly from this foot, it becomes easier to toe out. Then you throw your punch, lift your knee, kick with the toe. We step back, pivot, punch. And that, if you can believe it or not, is 1. So we go 2, toe out, lift the knee, kick, and back, punch. 3, toe out, punch, kick, and punch. 4, toe out, punch, kick, and punch. 5, toe out, punch, kick, and punch. And 6, kick, and punch. So we want to punch, we'll switch feet. We want to punch with the side that's going to kick first. So if I have my right foot forward, means my right hand's in front, I'm going to punch with my left first, right? So a lot of times people kind of don't fully understand the purpose behind punching. We never throw a kick without throwing a couple punches, right? And we have there's no illusion I'm going to hit the person with every punch, right? It's really, if I try to kick you from here and you see me coming at you, you tell me to stop before I get there. As soon as you see me move, just say stop. Stop. Right? Didn't get there. Stop. Right? You say it every single time. There's no way you don't see my kick. If I'm closer to you, obviously, but I'll keep my distance for social distance purposes. But if I'm closer to you and I throw a punch, your attention is here. By the time the kick gets there, it's too late. Your focus is up here. So this is almost more of a distraction than an offensive technique. Sure, it's good to get used to letting your hands go because otherwise you're just frozen, you can't move. So it's useful for that. But really, this is to distract the eye and set up the kick so we don't throw it kind of, we're throwing something that we've told them about long before we ever threw it. Exactly. You're like, hey, look at the pretty hand because here comes the foot, right? So here we go. We're going to punch with the left. Toe out, kick with the left, step back, punch with the right. So punch with the left, toe out, lift the knee, kick, step back, punch. Punch with the left, lift the knee, kick, step back, punch. Good. Punch with the left, kick, back. Punch with the left, kick, back. Punch with the left, kick, and back. Good. Let's switch sides. Okay, this time same exact procedure. We're going to lift and push out with the heel. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. Punch with the right, toe out, kick, and back. Good. Punch with the right, toe out, kick, and back. Punch with the right, kick, back. Punch with the right, kick, back. Punch with the right, kick, and back. Good. Let's switch sides. We're going to do it with the left. Punch with the left, kick, and back. It really helps to toe out. We want to punch, toe out, lift the knee, kick. The reason we toe out is to open up the hip, right? I can only go so far with my hip square. When I toe out, I open up the hip, I gain distance, which for kicking, pretty useful, right? So again, punch, toe out, kick, punch. 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 Punch, toe out, kick, and punch. Good. Step back, switch your feet. This one's straight leg kick. It's the only kick that we have that we're not going to bend the knee, right? So when we throw that kick, same procedure, punch, toe out. You want to let your leg swing up and come straight back, because this kick has kind of two directions of attack. It's striking coming up, but it's also for sweeping on the way down. So you develop a pretty good sweep just letting the leg swing, right? Okay, so we're here. Punch, toe out, kick, punch. 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 Punch, toe out, kick, and punch. Good, let's switch. That's nice. Punch, toe out, kick, punch. 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 Punch, toe out, kick, and punch. Good, we switch. Now we're going to throw a round kick, right? So round kick, we're going to, same procedure to begin with. We want to use that torque that we created with opening the hip, lift the knee up, and then turn it over and turn the hip over, right? So you're hitting with the shin and instep. So we go, punch, toe out, kick, punch, toe out, kick, good. Punch, toe out, kick, punch, toe out, kick, punch, toe out, and kick. Good. We switch. Punch, toe out, kick, punch, toe out, kick. Good. Punch, toe out, kick, punch, toe out, and kick. Good. I'm just going to grab a chair really quick because I want to show you something. So a round kick is probably the easiest kick to kind of not get the full direction of the kick down with. And a chair is one of the easiest ways to develop a good round kick. So when you're home, you can face the chair, punch, toe out. Don't even focus on the kick. Focus on bringing your knee up beside the chair and then coming across horizontal with your knee pointed that way. So you come up and over. If you can get that action, then when you throw your kick, it's going to go where you want, because that's pretty nice. Most people's round kick is kind of shallow. It's like kind of glancing. And if you want, with a round kick, you really want to drive into that person, you get the knee up and over. So you don't want to throw the full kick just because if you misjudge your space somehow, you break a toe or a vase, it's no good. But you can get a lot out of that hip action where you're coming up vertical and then over. It's going to give you that. So there's something to play with at home. Hey, Kim. How are you? Good. Yeah, Sifu's in Tai Chi there, but I'm sure there's room. Yeah. Okay, so where were we? Oh, we just finished kicks. We go to deep breathing. Awesome. So before we jump into 5 stances, are there any questions either about what we're about to do or about what we just did? No? Everybody's pretty clear. All right. So, cool. All right, so we're going to run through 5 stances. We'll do that as a group, guys. We're going to do 4 directions this time, right? And I'll be with you. I'll run around to kind of make sure you can still see me. All right? So here we are. We make fists, raise up, open, push out. When we do this, you want the elbows to be bent. You don't want to fully extend the arm. Yep, palms up, make fists, pull, open. And we push out, pull, push out, pull, push out. Lift, double elbows, press. Thrust out, press. And we close with a hoop and draw it in, right? Now we go right fist on top, bend the knees, step out to an offset horse stance. So offset is toe to heel, just like a leaning, because that's going to be our next stance after this transition. We go draw the bow. Sliding step, leaning stance punch. Yeah. So you notice if you had a good toe to heel stance, when you go to leaning, it's already aligned, right? So your balance will be pretty good. Left hand underneath, step all the way through, pull your elbow back, turn the waist in stance, punch. Good. Toe out with your left foot. Yeah, so here, let's do that again from the punch really quick. We're here, toe out with your left foot so that you've got a nice clear path through. We make a hoop, turn the waist to the right, spin to the left, good. Corner back fist with the left hand to the head. Make a circle with your left hand, chun. Cat stance, punch. Okay, so the left hand should be here to protect the ribs, kind of under the arm. Step straight back, cover. Leaning stance, high block, low block. Yeah, so you don't want to overturn. You want the body to still kind of face the frontward side. If you overturn this way, you kind of lose that structure. So, because this is coming this way, and this is coming this way. Okay, left knee up. Turn, drop, and chop. Yeah, so let's try that drop part one more time. So when we're here, I toe out. I'm going to set my foot position shoulder width with my right toe lined up on the heel of my left foot. Right, now when we jump, no one has time to actually line that up. Would you just, right? But you can take your time through that. When you're here, 1, 2. So you set the feet, and now you drop, you allow gravity to give you some force. You free fall into it. So you actually want to be sitting on your heel of your right foot. Right? So let's try one more time. We're here, knee up, turn, set your feet, and then drop. Yep, step out, offset horse stance, turn, press, uppercut. Okay, and we step up, we close. Now we're going to go this way. I'm going to just move over here. Right fist on top, offset, chun. Sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Left hand underneath, step all the way through, pull back, punch. Good. Toe out with your left foot. Nice. Big cross step, make your hoop. Turn, dragon whip's tail, counter rotate. Check your feet. When you spin out, if you're not in a toe to heel stance, make the slight adjustment with the feet. Yeah. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm fairly used to pivoting from that direction. So it typically, for myself, it's going to end up offset like it should. But it takes getting used to doing that. So let's say that I pivot out and I'm toe to toe. Just make the adjustment. Right? So we're here. Spin out. You want to end up in offset. So it's your left toe lines up with your right heel. Yeah, there you go. And now corner back fist to the head. Make the circle with the left hand, chun. Cat stance, punch. Step straight back, cover. You can use the mirror too. Leaning stance, high block, low block. Good. Left knee up. Toe out, drop, chop. Step out, offset again, toe to heel, so that I turn to leaning. We step up and close. Good. Right fist on top, we step out, offset horse stance, chun. Sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Left hand underneath, step all the way through, elbow, punch. Toe out, big cross step, we then make the hoop, turn, dragon whip's tail. Spin out, check your feet. If you're not in offset, toe to heel, make it so up, reverse your feet. There you go. Corner back fist to the head, make a circle, intercept, step up, cat stance, punch. Straight back, cover. Leaning, high block, low block, left knee up, turn, drop and chop. Step out, offset, turn to leaning, uppercut. Close. Right fist on top, last direction, offset, chun. Sliding step, leaning. Left hand underneath, step all the way through, leaning. So check when you step through, toe to heel. If we can create these good habits now, It'll be one less thing to think about, and you'll find that as you progress learning sequences of movement, that everything feels kind of in balance. And if we don't create these good habits, we struggle with like, whoa, I feel off balance here, I feel off balance there. So it's worth taking the time to make those adjustments, right? So here, elbow, punch. Good, toe out, cross step, dragon whips tail, pivot out, offset, corner back fist, make the circle, intercept, suspended, punch, step straight back, cover. Leaning, high block, low block, left knee up, drop and chop, step out, uppercut, and we close. Nicely done, everyone. Deep breathing. Hey, Iris. I'll be there in 1 sec. Anyone who wants a drink, now's a good time to get it. How are you? Good. Oh, hold on. That was misfire because it's too far away, which you knew the second you saw it. 36-4, you're good. I was like, hey, why are you guys in the dark? How's it going, boys? Say again, you didn't sleep until 8?
Yeah. And,
that sucks.
miles are like 7.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And you, Andrew, how's everything going with you? You also, did you do cross country? You used to? Now he's strictly a Kung Fu man, huh? All right. Very good. So, questions, concerns? Inner Kung Fu angst? Yeah. So, there's a couple of things that are kind of easy to miss when we're doing 5 stances, right? One of the things is that we want to use 5 stances as our kind of introduction to things to get into the habit of setting the feet in their proper position and then throwing the technique, right? You can see there's a big difference between going from here and doing this, right? And so setting your feet and then throwing the technique is something that we learn early on with 5 stances. This is why even though we're not doing it at what I would call performance speed, we're doing it at practiced speed, but that we set the position and then go. It's why when I'm narrating this, I'm like, oh, let's toe out first, cross step, make the big hoop so that you're just ready to go. So that's one thing that we get out of 5 stances. Again, another thing that can be missed is sliding step, right? So sliding step, it's really important that you slide with your front foot first if you're going forward, right? And the reason for that is if I'm here and I want to, I've picked on her enough, I want to advance, right? If I want to advance and I step with my back foot, you tell me to stop when you see me move. Terrible, right? And worst part is I got no closer to hit you, right? So you see it coming and I didn't get there, right? When I'm here, I've at least gained distance when you saw me move, right? So when we do our sliding step, we're here, we pick this front up, pick up your front foot, reach out, and then pivot, slide you forward, right? So again, just something to kind of make note of as you're going. Basically, any time that you're going from leaning, if your technique ends in a leaning stance, you're going to transition to that from an offset horse stance. And reverse, if your technique ends in an offset horse stance, you're going to first step into a leaning, because then it's driven by the stance and the body, right? So an example would be, here I step into leaning because my technique ends in an offset, right? The offset to leaning would be I step out, offset, and then turn to leaning, right? So because of that, most of your stances are going to line up your toe and your heel, right? So if you step out, you're an offset, it's toe to heel. You go offset to leaning, it's toe to heel. You step through to leaning, you want to make sure it's still toe to heel, offset, right? Even this is toe to heel, right? Toe to heel. Toe out. Suspended is also toe to heel. Offset is toe to heel, right? So that helps as a kind of a guide because you can check that for yourself when you're practicing on your own. You can just look down and go, oh, I've got it reversed. Now, toe to heel, just remember, whatever direction you're headed in, that's the toe side, right? Because if I go from here to here, I'm headed that way, that's toe to heel for leaning. If I reverse that and I go this way, I'm crossed, right? So, cool. And you guys said that you had started first form, is that right?
Right.
Excellent. Very cool. Iris, would you guys as a group, you want to work through second, and then you can continue with Brian, because he's working all the way through fifth, I think? Awesome. I'm sorry, say again? Yeah, so you guys are going to work second, all three of you, and then I'll get Kim to come in and work with Andrew on second, and you guys could continue through. Awesome. Thank you, Iris. All right. And just remind me before class ends, we'll get a little time together as well. Cool. All right. So, so let's work on first form. Do you guys know where you stopped on first form? No idea. Okay. Was it past here? Did you guys get to this? No problem, no problem. So why don't we just start?
Okay.
And we'll get to where we get to. We'll see how that goes. And if we're feeling, like everything's going reasonably well, we can continue. We can also work details if there's anything unclear. Cool. All right. So again, we're going to face the mirror. We make fists, raise them up. Left hand middle. Bend the knees, step and turn. Good. Cross step suspended. Turn to the front, salute. We step back, feet together, and close. Yeah. So let's try that again. When we do our cross step forward, right, we really don't need to turn the body more than 45. Right? The angle of deflection. So the angle of deflection of this stick, if I don't turn my waist, is not good. I end up having to push the hand over here, which is no good, right? But if I turn my body 45, that's already no longer a threat. So we want to be efficient in our movement. We don't want to over-rotate and then have to come back that distance. So typically, you're not going to need to turn the waist a whole lot more than 45. If we're trying to achieve a bigger degree, we'll incorporate the feet to get there. Right? So when we're here, make fists, raise them up, left hand middle, bend the knees, we step straight forward, toe out, shift the weight forward, turn to the corner, and that's it. Suspended, turn to the front, big hoop. And you want to make sure the elbow comes out, the palm is facing out, so you get that nice big hoop. Step straight back, feet together, and we close. Good. Bend the knees, turn to your right, step out offset with the left foot, high block, and low block. We're going to pull our foot back half the distance of our stance. Pivot, cross stance, cross the hands, right hand underneath. Step through with your right foot, right hand middle block, turn to the front, and dragon. Good. So let's try that again. Questions, concerns? Yeah. I know it seems like, well, it doesn't just seem like, it is a lot of information, right? Even if you listen to the sheer number of words, you would go, that's a complicated recipe, right? But the thing is, when we break these individual things down, again, we get used to passing through those positions. Over time, you don't have to think about it. Once you can build that muscle memory, right? Muscle memory is way better than mental memory. Mental memory is, where the heck did I put my bike? Right? Muscle memory is I get on the bike and I remember how to go. So way more reliable, right? So let's try that again. We're here. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, let me grab Kim, guys. I'll be right there. Hey, Kim, can I borrow you for second form? Awesome. Yes. Beautiful. I'm going to have you work with Andrew. Maybe you guys can come down to this side. And then Iris is working with Brian. Cool. Awesome. Cyrus, you guys good to work third, fourth, fifth? Nice. Okay. So we're here. We make fists, raise them up. Left hand middle, step. Sorry, I rushed that. Middle, sink, step turn, suspended, salute. Step back, feet together, and close. Bend the knees, turn to the side, step out, offset, high block, and low block. Pull your foot back half the distance of your stance, cross step, right hand underneath. So right hand underneath. Right hand's also palm up, left hand's palm down. We step through, offset. So just check your feet. There you go. Right hand middle. Opposite. Middle. There we go. Turn to the front. Turn that over. Dragon claw. Good. Right fist on top. Step straight back. Turn offset. And we draw the bow. So this is offset horse stance, both knees out versus leaning away from it. Scoop. Good. When we scoop, all fingers touch the thumb. Right? And then also, you want to create, with the kids, I say the Z, right? You got 1, 2, 3 angles. So if you're straight, you don't have the same leverage with the arm. If the elbow's bent, the wrist is bent, you can turn the waist and use the leverage of your waist versus trying to push the thing to the side, right? So we're here, all fingers touch the thumb, we scoop. Yep, good. All right, so let's try that again. Make fists, raise them up. Left hand middle. Bend the knees. Step, turn. Suspended. Salute. Step back. Feet together. And we close. Bend the knees. Turn to the right. Step out with the left foot. Offset horse stance. High block. And low block. Pull your foot back so you have to unweight. Cross step. Right hand underneath. Cross hands. Step straight through, offset horse stance, so your right toe lines up with your left heel. Right hand middle block, turn to the front, and dragon. Good. Right fist on top, step straight back, and then pivot, offset, draw the bow, scoop. Very good. So how does that feel for the section of sequence? Okay, good. Well, let's, utilizing the repetition is our friend motto that we have here, we'll just do that a bunch of times. Let's do it, let's say 2 more times where I'll narrate, and then we'll do it 3 times where I'm not going to say anything unless I need to. If there's something like, hey, opposite foot or whatever, I'll correct, but otherwise we'll just run through. Right, right. I'm like, how did he end up in the hallway? What happened? So, okay. So we're here, make fists, raise them up. Left hand middle, bend the knees, step with your right, turn to the right. Suspended, salute. Step straight back, feet together, and we close. Sorry, I'm going to just adjust my mask. Bend the knees, toe out, high block, low block. So very much like when we do high block in front of us here, it's going to be the same exact position. It's just that our body is to the side, right? So we don't want to go to a leaning stance here. We still want to be in an offset. When I'm here, I step out. High block is basically here, but I'm turning the body. And then low block right on top of that. Yeah? So let's try just stepping out to offset, and 1, 2, we'll check our position as we go, right? So we're here. We've turned. Step out. High block. Good. Low block. Good. Again. We're here. Turn. Step out. High block. Low block. Good. And again. Sink. Pivot. Step out. High block, low block. Good. You want to make sure when we're doing this, so if I'm facing square to the front of my position, that has a structural advantage. If I'm facing to the side with my position, that has a structural advantage. The problem we get into is when we mix the two of those. Now I don't really have the advantage of being square in front of me, and I don't have the full advantage of being to the side. So when we step out and we go 1, you notice this is lined straight up. If you use your knee as an example, both feet, when we're here, are still facing this way. The knees are out just like we would in a traditional toe-to-toe stance, even though it's toe-to-heel. And when I lift this elbow, this hand should line up dead center on top of my knee. So I don't want to turn this way. I go to the side. And now I press, it's again right over that knee. Good. So I lift, press, lift, press, lift, press, lift, press, lift, and press. I think we got it. Cool. So let's do that again. I'm going to narrate again on this one, and then the next few I'll do radio silent, but with corrections as needed. So we're here. Make fists, raise them up. Left hand middle. Bend the knees. Step, turn. Cat stance, salute. Step back, feet together, and close. Bend the knees, pivot, step out, lift, down. Very good. Pull your foot back, cross step, cross hands. Step through, offset horse stance, right hand middle, turn to leaning, and dragon claw. Right fist on top, we step straight back, and then pivot, chun, scoop. Good. Pretty good. So when we go from here to here, the body has to articulate a little. We don't want to go flat where it's just the arm, because what we're trying to do is as this thing comes in is to sink on top of it. If we just hooked our hand, it's still coming through, right? So we have to drop on it. So that involves the angle of your sternum going from plumb to an angle. You're here, drop. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Just think, that's the weak link. I may have done something effective here, but I'm also open. And so I drop to change that. Yeah. And again, make sure that you got that Z. Right, yep. There you go. In fact, if you make this, I'm going to mirror the angle, right? Yep. That's better. Because you can see that if you were to turn your waist without moving your arm, yep, so much more leverage than trying to pull the thing across with your hand. Right? I'll do the same with you. We'll try to mirror. So we go offset. We're here, here. So you don't want to go too vertical. Yeah. And even this, let it out towards me. Yeah, there you go. Perfect. See how you got that Z there? That's what you're going for. Good. One thing also that may help just to keep an eye on as you go is I tell the kids all the time, and I date myself, and they have no idea what I'm talking about. I say, we don't do the hitchhiker. And they're like, what's a hitchhiker? But but you don't want the thumb to stick out, right? It's a generational thing. They're like, what is he talking about? Is that a video game, the hitchhiker? Like, right? But so whenever we punch, whenever we make a fist, I should say, we always want to keep that thumb, not obviously inside, but on the inside, because this is something that I can tell you, even if it gets hung up in somebody's shirt, you can pull this thing the wrong way and it's no fun. So if you get used to making that fist with the thumb in, anytime you make a fist, even if it's on the waist, then it's always prepared. You don't have to remember like, oh, I'm going to punch, I better pull that in. It's just always ready to go. Yeah. All right, good. So let's do 3 sets now. Again, radio silent, right? But we'll still do the same speed and everything. Good. You got it. Nicely done. Good. Yeah, so that's just a question of those little degrees and angles. But it's good. You're both looking, you're both checking. That's, you get used to kind of referencing what you remember, and it allows you to correct yourself as you go, which is very handy because sadly we're not always there to offer correction. So if you get used to hear that annoying sound in your voice of me saying, remember the angle of that or tuck that in, then you'll be like, no hitchhiker, damn him. So okay, let's try that again. Good. Very good. So one thing, when you find yourself in a leaning stance, if your rear heel is up, 9 times out of 10 it's because your stance is too narrow, right? So if I find myself, I step back and then this heel's up, it's usually because my feet are too close this way. If I adjust one of my feet, that foot lays flat a lot easier. So if it's too narrow this way, the heel will start to kind of rise up. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing is that this is kind of like what they would say a first world problem, right? Except for in Kung Fu. So as we start to remember more of the sequence, that's a good thing. One of the signs that that's happening is also something we want to try to avoid, which is we start to anticipate what's next, and we add what's next to the movement that we're doing before it, right? So an example of that would be we come around and we do this, knowing that I'm going to go to leaning stance, but actually this happens here, and then I turn and turn this over, right? From an application perspective, what we're doing when we're doing this is not trying to strike out with the hand, but we set this position where the elbow's down so that when we turn the waist, we have leverage here, and then we turn this over to disrupt, right? So again, if I use a stick, all my training partners these days are sticks, right? So if I'm here, this is here. Once I'm here, I turn this over. That creates this disruption because you've already made contact. So it's not the person's trying to punch you and you go, oh, I'm going to claw their face out. Some people apply their movement like this, but it actually doesn't work that way, right? So when you're here, you're in this middle block position. Now when you turn again, you've got all that leverage of your waist in your stance, and you finish it by turning that over, right? Yeah, exactly. So it's 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Good. Yep. And you step through. Good, good, good. So you had a little bit of lean forward already on your step through, but all in all, that was really solid, right? So when you're here, when you step through, you're here, right hand middle block. Now you turn, leaning. Yeah, good. Yep. Yes. So the first thing we do is step straight back. The reason that I narrate that as step straight back is because when I'm here and I want to go to offset on the other side, sometimes I kind of, in trying to get to offset position, I end up doing this. And I don't want to do that because now I'm not offset, right? So from here, toe to heel, fist on top, I just slide this foot straight back. Now it's toe to heel. Now when I pivot, I'm in my toe to heel stance. And then I go chun and scoop. Good. Yeah, very good. All right, so again, repetition being our friend, we'll do that a few more times, just radio silent. Cool. Here we go. One thing, let's make sure the elbow's down just because we have more leverage here than we do with the elbow out. We turn. Good. Suspended. Salute. Step back. Feet together. Good. Bend the knees. Toe out. Step out. High block. Low block. Pull the foot back. Cross step. Cross block. Good. Step all the way through. Now check your feet. When you step through, again, there's going to be a tendency from here to here to step around, but you've already got your toe to heel stance, so you can just step straight through and you're going to have better alignment toe to heel with your right toe lined up with your left heel. Right hand middle, and turn, leaning, dragon. Very good. So one last kind of tip that I'll give, and I say last, but I'm not going to shut up probably, so there's probably more coming, but anytime we're doing a single-handed technique, that means that hand is the only hand on that plane. Doesn't mean that you can't have another hand there. That hand is going to line up on center, right? So dragon, uppercut, phoenix eye, on guard position, that hand's going to line up on the center. The reason for that is with a single hand, the force that comes through, I now have the body behind this to support that weight, right? Two hands are shoulder width. I can't occupy that same space this way, but shoulder width creates a bridge to the body that then supports that weight all the way down. So kind of the structure of the thing. Two hand techniques, right? Two hands pushing out, two hands pushing out, shoulder width, right? Single hand technique, the hand's always going to line up in your center. So you can use your nose as a reference. You can use the sternum. Sorry, Iris, yeah. Yep. Yeah, and you cut, push out, thrust, close, and then hook. Good? That was just the sticking point, was that transition? Yeah. Gotcha. Good. Nice stuff, Iris. So, sorry. So when we're doing dragon, we're here. Dragon, it's going to be lined up in the middle. Yeah, very good. Yep, good. All right, so as they say, again. So our original teacher, Grandmaster Kung Fu, he really didn't speak English. He spoke Toisan. He could scream the word no. He could definitely portray disgust. And he could count to 10 in English, and that was about the extent of his vocabulary. So when we're doing these things, and I say again was one of his words, and he used to just again, like you did it 80 times. Okay, again. So that's something that kind of it rings in there. Yeah, exactly right. So we make fists. Good. Good. Nice. Check your feet, offset, toe to heel. Good. Remember, don't turn towards it yet. So you keep your stance at offset. So yep. And then turn. Good. So this position is actually a lot softer than you might think. And what I mean by that is, so for example, some karate systems, they're gonna, right, they really hold a lot of strength there. But I've got structural advantage here. If I want to turn something, it's very difficult for someone to stop me from turning in that direction. You know, it's like, okay, make your hardest fit, your strongest arm, and we move you like this, right? So in this direction, I don't need to kind of throw the power into it. I want to actually relax and then turn and get position. One of the reasons for that is if I snap power into this, I run the risk of sending their arm away. And I want to have contact for the finish, right? So if I go bam, I'm like, great, it's gone. Now I have to wait for this fool to punch me again, right? And so when I'm here, I go to position and then turn that over. Yeah.
You don't want to send it away.
Right, exactly. You don't want to, if you bat it away, you can't do much with it afterwards, right? So what we want to do is we're here, we're just setting the position to intercept and then turning it over. Yeah. So we're here, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So it's a really hard thing to figure out for a lot of people is how much strength is too much strength? What's appropriate strength, right? Sifu talks a lot in terms of live strength and dead strength, right? So dead strength is strength that keeps you from moving, if you think of it that way, right? So it's awesome. I flex. Ha! It's not even impressive. It's just sad. But, but now I can't move. That's dead strength. I have effectively killed myself, right? And if I throw it out and I'm still able to move, then I'm at a much better advantage, right? So most of what we do here is going to be live strength versus dead strength. So we're not trying to throw a lot of power into this individual pose, because that pose is a moment in time where we're intercepting and interacting and moving to the next thing. Movement is key, right? Stagnation equals death, especially in combat, right? That's why bodybuilders aren't the best fighters, right? It doesn't mean some giant guy can't hit you with a haymaker and kill you. It's just, if you just stand there like, oh, he can't harm me, you could get pretty well clobbered. But it means that if you can't move, you're done. So anytime that we do this, we're kind of putting ourselves in a position where it's immobile. I have to then release the shoulder in order to move the waist. If I get to here and I turn, right? Yeah. The other thing to think about is that one of the reasons that we have all of these individual positions along the way as we're learning, especially in the beginning, is that if I were to tell you, I want you to describe a smooth arc, you can use as many points as you want along the way. If you use 3 points, it's not very smooth, right? So when we go 1, 2, 3, over time that turns into 1, 2, 3, right? But if we don't have those positions along the way, if we don't have those positions along the way, then we end up kind of dropping frames or out of phase, and it's not effective. If we can get used to going to this position without too much strength, turning to the front, and then turning this over, then we're setting ourselves up when we want to speed it up, it doesn't degrade.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Questions, concerns? I see gears turning.
Practicing a little bit. You're trying to make it. You have to start rough because you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So even in Tai Chi, our approach here is we teach what we call the block version first, which is very much kind of 1, 2, 3. You go, that's not very smooth. Sure, if I go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you think, okay, that's a great robot. Well, where's the Tai Chi? But then as you start to connect things, you're not losing position. You're not coming out of your posture, and you're able to connect things in a fairly smooth way, with still maintaining all the principles of structure that you need along the way so that you don't need too much strength. And it's the same thing here. If I can get from here to here to here, then when I go here, it's where you want it to be. It's effective. It has structure, but it's mobile. It's able to move. And it doesn't lock me into like if this doesn't work, I'm dead, right? Because if this doesn't work, I can do the next thing because I'm still able to move. I'm not putting too much. But it's a tricky thing to kind of figure out as you go. It's no structure is no good either. Like flaccidity in your bridge technique, it just gets you run over, right? And rigidity gets you run over because you can't resist. The whole body, person touches your hand and the whole body moves back. But if you relax, nobody's going to knock me over by pushing on my hand because this is relaxed. If I'm tight, the whole body goes. So it's the same here. 1, 2, 3. All right, so let's try that again now with all of this other stuff bouncing around in there. Here we are. Good. Yeah, so again, if you guys need a break, water or whatever, just feel free to let me know. No, remember, don't turn into it. Then turn it over. Yeah, good. So one thing when we do this, when we're here, and then I turn, notice that I didn't kick this to the side. I turn, this is in the middle, and then I turn it over. Right? So what happens is if this is to the side when I turn, I've gone too far because I want to end up in the middle with a single hand technique. So I go here, I turn, this is in the middle, then it turns over. Yeah. Good. I wasn't saying you're crazy, I was just saying processing. All right. Good. Nicely done. All right, so let's do it 2 more times, and then I'm actually going to let you just swim in whatever end of the pool you're at, practicing that, because that's also another way you're going to build that memory. Yep. And you also can cheat because you have each other, so. Yep. You're like, what did he say? So that's a good thing. And then I'll come back and check on you before we're done. All right. Nice. Check those feet, offset, toe to heel. Nicely done. Very good. Good stuff. All right, so play with that for a bit. If you have questions, I'm in the same room, so just give a shout, get my attention. I'm happy to clarify. All right, you're very welcome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's solid instruction. Good. Very good. How's it feel, Brian? Huh?
Get in my head.
Just trying to get it in your head? Yeah.
The first butterfly is kind of confusing a little bit. You know.
Yes. Yeah. You mean this one?
Yeah, but it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's similar, but it's different.
Yeah. So what's happening is, if you think about it this way, right? Every one of your butterflies, let's say Lauga, you're going to have 2 waist turns. 1, 2, and then your push. 1, 2, and then your push, right? And Iris is 100% right. When we get to 4th form, right, and we go 1, 2, and then we push, right? So this is very similar in that it has 2 waist turns. I'm here, I go 1, 2, but I'm going to finish in a side image, right? So I don't want to go to here. I start turning the wheel, I end up in the side image, so that when I'm here, I turn to leaning and push out. Does that help clarify a little?
I think there's 2 types of butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
There's one like this, and there's one like that.
So, which one?
The first encounter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you start from here, but then you do it that way.
So you're talking about when you turn and you close, you're going to go 1, suspended,
Yeah, that.
2. So you end up facing side image. Step out, push. Adjust your foot offset, low, big. Adjust your foot, come across, slice. Hook, scoop, flip, turn, side image. Push. Adjust your foot, low, big. Adjust your foot, slice. Yeah, which is really essentially exactly what Iris was doing. Right, any questions? You sure? Yeah. All righty. Very good, yeah. Hey, Kim.
He's just done a really good job with everything I wanted.
Yeah,
And I was wondering if you could give him that in plus by checking him with.
sure, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
You can watch those guys if you want.
Yeah, that'd be great. All right. How are we doing, Andrew? Good. So where are you up to? Yep. What was the last move you did? Did you have your phoenix eye? Step up, fold, dropping elbow, dropping palm, I should say. So you do this whole thing the second time, right? You're here, all of that, right? So now you're at your butterflies, you turn 1, 2, is that where you is that the newest piece to you? Or did you get past that too?
I got past that.
Oh, okay.
So this, so,
Up to this?
well, to the ending.
Oh, so you finished?
Yeah.
Sweet. I, pounded out, but, COVID, so high foot. All right. So you want to run through it one time? Just we'll run through it together. And if you have any questions along the way, you let me know.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Here, you know what? Just step a little farther back so you can see as we go. Cool. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You alive? Mm-hmm. So from here, you're going to turn leaning stance. Cross step, flip, step, push. Cross step, scoop, step, flip, step, push. Step in, step out, low, middle. Step in, step out, low, middle. Step straight back, reach out, chop, adjust, elbow, dropping palm, back fist. Left hand underneath, pivot, you're here, lift, 1, 2. Cross step, open, trap. Step, press, thrust. Turn to the corner, salute, step back, 1, 2, 3. Good. How's it feel? Good. So at this point, I think just repetition is your friend. Just do it as much as you possibly can. Remember, we have all of these videos online. We have every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, we run through all 4 of the first forms to begin in the class. So there's almost 200 videos up right now that are live classes that are archived. So you can go back to any of those classes that say beginner, intermediate, kung fu, and you're going to see either sifu or sifu minor or myself performing those at practice speeds, not performance speeds, designed to be followed along at home. So hopefully, have you checked that stuff out?
A couple of times.
Mm-hmm. Did you subscribe to the channel yet?
Not yet.
You got to subscribe to it. Okay, subscribe to it. A, it's going to help us out. B, when you click on subscribe, if you also click the notification bell, every time we come out with a live class, you're going to get a notification. So if you're at home and you know, maybe you're just watching TV or whatever, maybe you're studying, schoolwork, whatever it is that you're doing, you'll get a notification pops up. In 5 minutes, this class is going live. You can tune in, just follow it through to the second form. When we're done with the second form, we move on. You can go back about your day. It won't take you too long, and you'll be able to get a good amount of that kind of solid practice time at home. Makes a big difference. Very good. All right, Andrew. Any questions for me? Okay, cool. Hey, what time is this one supposed to end? I can't even remember all of a sudden.
7:30, right? And the next one is 7:40.
7:40, that's right. Yep, good. Okay. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Just make sure that's in the middle. Yeah, good. Yeah. Yeah. Nicely done. Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. So actually, everybody, if you guys want to, let's all line up down here. We'll just do a couple of footwork drills. Okay, so just hang on to that, file it away. I think we had a good amount of repetition in that tonight, right? So good. So we'll all line up here, and we're going to head down this way. And Iris, you can feel free to do your own thing as far as practicing your form. I know you're working sword, right? Okay, cool. So here we'll line up this way. We're going to end up moving this way. So we're kind of facing down the alleyway here. Good. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out feet together, but point your feet 45. Right? Again, we're setting that reference direction before we even move. Okay, so feet are 45. I'm going to step out, offset horse stance on the 45. I'm going to middle block with my left to the side. I'm going to sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Yep. Now I'm going to bring my feet together. Notice that both feet are facing 45 to that corner. I'm going to step straight out, offset, middle block, sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Okay? Feet together, step out, middle block, sliding step, punch. Good. Feet together, step out, middle block, sliding step, punch. Feet together, step out, middle block, sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Good. One thing to note, when we do this, sometimes, whether it's leg fatigue or maybe we don't know, but we'll see that people do this. They step up and then they go, okay, now I'm going to drop into it. We want to keep the legs at the same height. So when I'm here, so you notice it's not a lot of up and down. It's more work that way, but it's worth it. Okay, so let's start again. Feet facing 45, feet together. We're going to step out to this side. Bring your middle block across as your left fist goes to the waist. Sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Feet together, step out, middle, sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Feet together, step out, middle, sliding step, punch. Feet together, step out, middle, sliding step, punch. Yep. So when we punch, this punch that turns over, this flat punch or reverse punch, ping choi, we want to do it the same way we do it from the waist, even though it's here, right? So that gets me to elbow position. A lot of people are going to do this like this, but really it should be here. The reason it should be lined up with the body versus the elbow back here is if my elbow's back here, no matter what I do when I go to punch, I've got to get my elbow out around the body, right? So it ends up doing this. I want this in a straight line. I've already got it lined up. I just send it, and it goes. You see a difference? So when you're here and you step out, this is already set. Now you just go. Yep. See a difference there? So like I said, those are habits we're going to create that are good habits that'll make it a lot easier as we go. You don't end up wondering for yourself, why do I keep bringing my elbow out? Because you've already set your position and it goes, right? Here, we'll move back a little just because swords, right? Good. So again, we'll face this way, feet together. Step out, left fist to the waist, side position for the middle block, sliding step, leaning punch. Feet together, step out, middle, sliding step, leaning punch. Good. Step in, step out, middle. Sliding step, leaning punch. Step in, step out, middle. Sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Yeah. Good. Step in, step out. Okay, so a little more than the 45 that you want because you want to be toe to heel. More so that way. You want your right toe to line up with your left heel. So even more, there you go, that's a straight line. That also puts you on the 45 when you advance this way with your sliding step. Yeah, and actually lift this a little higher. There you go. Now you turn to leaning. Flawless victory, right? Right, so you've got that toe to heel, that's good. Again, you want to raise your elbow just a little higher on this particular middle block. It's here, sliding step, leaning punch. Yeah, excellent. If you can pivot that back foot towards the front a little more, believe it or not, when I'm here, if I do this, you see how it's kind of stuck back here. If I pivot, then it comes forward. Yeah, so much of this has to do with setting the feet and then letting them get to the good position, but it's not intuitive. You could go into the woods and be a Taoist aesthete for the rest of your life and never walk out of the woods with a perfect pivot, right? So it's not something we discover necessarily on our own. Yeah, all right, so we're here. Step in, step out, middle, sliding step, punch. Good, step in, step out, middle, sliding step, punch. Step in, step out, middle, sliding step, punch. Yep, step in, step out, middle. So hold on, you want your middle lined up there and a little bit higher. Protect by the ear. There you go. Now offset toe to heel. Nope, other way. Because you're going to turn leaning stance towards me, right? You got your middle block here, now you turn leaning. Boom, right there. Right? Good. Don't punch so low, Brian. Shoulder height, right? There you go. Step in, step out, middle. So this is to the side image. So guys, this is something that's not necessarily intuitive, right? But what I'm doing is I'm coming to this position here so that when I turn, I can redirect that. If your hand is too low, and I have a side image, if I step towards Andrew and he throws a punch towards my cheek, and I do my block here, what happens to my cheek? Obliterated, right? So when I'm here and I'm stepping out towards him, I have to block to the side image because that protects my face. And then I turn into it, right? So again, it's a little bit of a different position. You're used to doing your middle block position is here, right? But this position is here. Yeah, good. There's something that has to happen in the body, hey Andy, for you to be able to do this I'm making words up now. In order for you to be able to do this, you have to relax the chest and the shoulder enough. It's the same thing we were talking about before, live or dead strength. If I go, first of all, it's not impressive, it's just depressing. But then also, it keeps me from being able to move. I never get power in this punch. But if I can relax, you let it go, right? Good. Well, it looks like that's our time. All right. Oh boy, I never shut up. Oh, you had the speaker on? Oh boy. You know Kung Fu's funny. Thank you, Sifu. Great job, everybody. Good stuff. Nice. All right. We'll see you at the next one. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah. Cyrus, how's that sword treating you?
I know all of it now. I need to work on it.
I gotcha. Any questions, positions, or anything?
Let's see.
How we doing, Arthur?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So when you do the horse stand,
Mm-hmm.
is it like two toes facing
Yes.
front?
Yes. So that's a traditional toe-to-toe horse stance. So you have Seiping Ma is toe-to-toe, right? Seiping Bat Fun Ma, offset toe to heel. Dung Ma or Jing Ma, the leaning stance, also known as an archer stance or a bow stance, right? Il Get Ma, suspended stance, and your cross step stance. So with the exception of the toe-to-toe horse stance, everything else, your toe and your heel line up. Offset horse stance, leaning stance, suspended stance, and scissor stance.
Thank you.
Cool, you're very welcome. Oh, I could have used that in class. Nice. Yeah.
So this, and then you jump back.
So, yeah, go for it.
So after you do this,
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
or is it
It's side image. It's side image. Offset. Yeah. 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 Yep. And forward. Yep. One. Yep. Yep. Flip. So before you jump, right? When you're here, fold it this way across your shoulder, the back of the shoulder. Now you come up and go. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So okay, so you went here, fold, strike, right? Boom. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2. Sorry. 1, 2, 3. From here, fold this way. Feet together as you spin. Step out. Right? Leaning. Sorry, cross step first. Cross step. So you're doing this Tindu. Yep. Step out, slice. Fold, cross step. Yep. Step out, fold, spin, spin, over, slide your right foot back, leaning. Step out, slice, fold, step, step, slice. That's a leaning. Now you step through. 1, 2, 3. Fold behind. Yep. Then you're going to go high block, step, low block. High block, low block. High block, low block. Then bring your sword back. Yeah. Jump, uppercut. Slice out. Leaning, jump, uppercut. Slice out. Leaning, jump, uppercut. Slice, leaning, jump, uppercut. Yep, slice. There you go. Forward. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right knee up. Jump through. So when you do this, knee up, right? You're bringing this hand down, cross step behind. Come up, come through, step through, bend the elbow, slice. Slice, leaning, salute. Good. You got it. Easy, right? Nice. Good stuff. You're welcome, Iris. Thank you. Here, Rob. It's going.
The sound situational squared away.
Oh, it's so much better. Oh my God. It is a dramatic improvement.